I understand English. I know English, but when I talk with people, especially native speakers, I cannot reply it with proper response. So that's the problem. That's the problem in English.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my podcast. Thanks to every one of you who listen and learn from this podcast. Today, we are going to talk about the power of small habits to help you achieve fluency in learning any languages. We are going to dive deep into the science of habit formation and how it can be applied to your language learning journey. We will be discussing practical strategies to help you identify and implement atomic habits that will make learning a new language easier, from setting goals and tracking your progress to creating a supportive environment and finding motivation. Whether you are a beginner or an advanced learner, this podcast is for you. Our aim is to help you take your language learning to the next level by applying the proven principle of atomic habit. So let's get started. Today's guest is one of my favorite talk friends. Please welcome my dear friend Harman. Hi Harman, how's it going?
Hi, hello. I'm fine. I'm doing good. How about you, Ansel? How's it going?
I'm really good. Thank you for being here. So before we start the conversation, could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Harlan, and thank you so much, Hansel. Thank you very much for inviting me to this amazing podcast.
Okay. So today we are going to talk about the bestseller book is Atomic Habit, how to learn English more effective based on this book.
It's very cool. If I'm not mistaken, that we have read this book together. Yeah, I think this book is amazing.
So my first question is that how can small habits improve your language skill? As the book told us about the habits, tiny change with a remarkable result related to English learner, how we can improve our language learning through this principle of this book.
I think getting used to small habits, like the atomic habits, like from the book where I have read, it's very important. Like it's really, really important for our language learning. You know, I think by doing it consistently, and you dedicate a small amount of each day the task, like reading, listening, writing, or even speaking in the language we are learning, it can make significant progress for us over time. So it's very crucial for me to get used to small habits. It can make a huge impact, like really, really big impact on our learning journey.
You said the consistent is the key to achieve your goal, right? So if just ordinary people, how to encourage ourselves to keep learning as consistent as possible?
To overcome lack of motivation. Being not consistent, some people might find it because they lack of motivation. Like many of the language learners, there's a struggle with motivation because they don't have much motivation. But it also depends on what motivates you to learn language. For example, if you work for an international company, and it requires you to learn language, a specific language, for example, English, or even Chinese or something, you will have motivation, but you will feel this kind of unique pressure because you learn the language because of the company ask you to do so. But it's very different. It make a very different if you learn a language because you enjoy it. You will be motivated, but when you learn it, you will feel enjoy. It becomes more enjoyable. So to overcome for being not consistent, you need more motivation. Find your motivation, like find something that make you feel you want to learn the language.
So consistency is related to motivation, and motivation is related to doing something with fun, with fun, right?
Yep, exactly.
What about the goals? The goals to learning something, it makes us more motivated if we make some clarify about our goals.
Goals, I don't know. When it comes to language learning, if you only think about the goals of it, you won't enjoy the process. So just enjoy the moment, enjoy the process. If you want to learn a language, enjoy the process. Because in the end of the day, after you learn it, it can be very rewarding. It's very rewarding. You will feel satisfied of what you've done in the past because you learn it and you realize that you make it. It's very rewarding. So enjoy the moment. Don't be in a rush. Some people think that they are in a race, but they're not. They're not in a race. Like, we don't have like a rival. It's not a race. So if you think that this is a race, I mean, like learning language is a race which you have to do it fast, which can make it not effective when you learn it.
Okay, it's nice. So, do you have any experiences related to learning English based on the how do you keep your motivation, keeping high level of your motivation?
Okay. Being consistent in language learning, it very depends on the people. Like, for me, I keep my motivation because, okay, this is a funny fact. Maybe it's not funny for you, but it's quite funny. But I play online games, right? I play multiplayer games. I play competitive games, which requires me to communicate with my friends. I have to communicate in order to win the game with foreigners, random people from all around the world. So in order to win, I think I have to communicate. So this really motivates me to be able to speak with them in English, of course. Like almost every day I used to play this game, which, I mean, while thinking that I have to learn it because I have to communicate. So it feels enjoyable for me because the way I learn it is very fun.
Okay. Because you are gamers, so
Not really.
force you to learn English because you need to communicate with your friends, probably with your another player around the world.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's fun. And like a lot of kids right now, 5 years old or 6 years old, already can spoken English well because I just wondering how did they learn English? Because I think just only in primary schools, probably just learning just really basic in English. But I just asking them, how did they learn English? They learn from video game, from like English word in games or even in YouTube as well. So
Yeah,
it means that we have to learn something with fun.
exactly. And you know what? For children, for kids, learning a language in informal way is way more entertaining than learning language in formal way.
Of course, yeah. Because like formal way is really boring, like in school, just learning grammar, pronunciations. But if you learn English, if you learn something with fun way in the games, your unconscious mind will learn more deeply. So it's easy to gain new vocabulary, for instance, or new grammar, for instance. So it's no wonder like a lot of kids can speak English really well right now. Just through the games. Okay. So exciting. Okay, come back to our topic related to atomic habits. So, what are some examples of atomic habits you can implement to improve your language learning?
Like having, no, developing habits, like small habits, that can support our language learning journey, is very essential for us in order to become proficient in the language we are learning. And I think one tiny habit that we can do is at least read like 5 minutes every day in the language we are learning. I think this daily practice can help us as language learners to reinforce vocabulary and grammars even, as well as increase reading comprehension. If we build this kind of habit, I mean reading at least 5 minutes a day. And there's hands-on. Have you ever heard about this method of learning language? Have you ever spoken with yourself in front of the mirror?
Ah,
You ever?
I never heard before.
You never heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Most of the people think that talking with themselves in front of the mirror is one of the methods to learn a language, but it's actually not. It's actually another thing for me. Talking with yourself in front of mirror is not for practicing your speaking. I mean, it's not totally wrong thing. It's a 100% wrong thing, but no one is going to fix your error. If you make mistakes, no one is going to fix it once you make one. So, talking to ourselves in front of mirror is one of the way for us to make us feel more confident, but not to make us more fluent in speaking. And last but not least, having a conversation with native speakers is an excellent way to improve language. I know it's not a tiny habit, it's very huge for some people, because once most of the people, when they talk to native speakers, they feel this kind of unique feeling like pressure. Do you feel that too when you talk with native speaker?
Okay.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, it's really hard to looking for partner speaking with native speaker. How to deal with that?
Okay. It actually depends on the place we live in. It depends on our environment, right? It depends on the country we live in. But unfortunately, we live in Indonesia. I can say it's even when we find Indonesian people speak English in real life, it's very hard.
Exactly.
Okay. So it's much harder for us to find native speakers to talk with. So one method that we can use as Indonesian people, if we want to talk with native speaker, or you might want to try it, technology. Technology is very advanced nowadays. You can use it. You can use technology to talk with native speakers if you want. Like there's a lot of websites, there's a lot of platform you can use to talk with native speakers, such as Discord, Free Talk, Lovely application. But then, yeah, I mean, even on Free Talk, it's very hard to find native speakers, right?
Exactly. Yeah, the point is, as much as possible, we exposure natural English from native speaker. So we're getting improved a lot, right?
Exactly.
3 things you need to do for improving your English for daily basis is: first, reading for 5 minutes every day for daily basis, right? And then speaking with ourselves in the front of mirror how much time you need every day for daily basis it will take for speaking with ourselves?
Right. Well, I mean, talking in front of mirror, it's not a method we can use to practice our speaking skill, but it's used to enhance our confidence. So, for example, if you are going to give a speech in front of the people, in front of a lot of people, and then you feel like this anxiety you're feeling, I can try that method, like talking in front of mirror. So once you do that, you'll be able to know your emotion. You'll be able to know your face when you have like face contact with a lot of people. So it can enhance your confidence, but not to practice your language.
So to reduce the nervousness talking in English,
Yeah.
you need to practice in front of mirror with yourself, right?
Yep. Exactly. I mean, it's one of the method. It's one of the way, but there's actually a lot of method, but I just don't know about it.
How powerful this method for you?
It's since I only know this method, this is very powerful for me. Like from scale from 1 to 10, I could say it's 9.
9. Wow, so powerful. Well, but the thing is like probably in first week it's easily to talk with yourself, but in the second week you'll lack of your topic, you know. Even with yourself, you don't have any topic to talk with yourself.
Okay.
So how do you do with that?
Like as I've mentioned before, talking in front of mirror is not the method we can use to practice our language. So means that you don't have to do everything. And if you run out of the topic, it's like you overthink about it too much. You think about it too much. Like if you talk with yourself, it means that you talk alone. No one is going to fix you. No one is going to judge you about your language. So just say anything. Say anything you want. Say anything you want in your head. Because there's no one, it's only you. No one's going to judge. No one's going to be offended. Just say anything you want on your brain. What's pop up on your brain, you say it. Say it out loud.
Okay. Okay, the number 3, the last but not least, is communicating with native speaker. So, but the thing is like a lot of people understand with native speaker, but they don't know how to reply the conversation with them. Do you have any trick or tips for these problems?
Right then. Okay. Many people I've heard many people say that I understand English, I know English, but when I talk with people, especially native speakers, I cannot reply it with proper response. So that's the problem. That's the problem in English. When you say that you don't understand, I mean, when you say that you don't understand English, but when you talk with someone, you cannot reply it properly. That's language. I mean, that's the problem. That's the main problem. So, in order to be able to respond to it, the native speakers when you talk with them, is to get used to it. So when we're talking about responding native speakers, we're talking about speaking in particular, right?
Mm-hmm.
So try to get used to it. Like, let's say, let's back to the atomic habits. You build your habit, you build small habits like reading at least 5 minutes every day, like talking with yourself in front of the mirror, and have a conversation with other people. Yeah, build that habit at first. I know it's very challenging at first. It's very challenging, but if you have enough motivation, if you do it consistently, like almost every day, you're going to make it. You're going to make it eventually, trust me. And after getting used to it, finally, in the end of the day, you overcome IT, you overcome your pressure because you get used to it. Just think that even the native speakers, even the people who are able to speak English properly, they're also a normal human being. We're just the same.
Nervous.
We're just the same. Yeah. And after that, it feels very rewarding for us. Like, for example, if you remember back in day when you talk with native speakers, you couldn't really respond well, but now you can. It feels very satisfying, right? That's the reward for you, to get used to it and enjoy the process. You're going to make it.
And keep practice and make a progress, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so what about the grammar? Because a lot of people say that I'm not really comfortable, I'm not really confident because my grammar is really bad. And then to establish, to build the conversations, it's really necessary to use grammar.
All right. Grammar is very important for me. Many people say that to me. Grammar is not important. The key is to be able to communicate with people. They can understand you, you can understand them. But that's actually not 100% wrong. But like a very simple sentence like I like you is grammar. I like you is grammar. Even such simple sentence like that is a grammar. So grammar is very important, but this is one of the challenges if you want to learn a language, because most of the language on the planet contains grammar. If you want to learn a language such as English, it contains grammar, which you have to learn. But it's not that important. It depends on the purpose of your learning journey. If you want to become an advanced, if you want to work with a company, of course, I think you have to at least understand some basic or even advanced. But if you only want to visit the country and you want to have a vacation, for that, of course, you don't need it. You don't really need it. And once again, if learning in the formal way is way more interesting and entertaining than learning in a formal way. But learning in a formal way, in order to achieve your proficient, is very important. So grammar is important for me.
Okay, especially for a beginner, among the three things, grammar, pronunciation, and also vocabulary, which one you should learn first to enhance, to improve your English faster for a beginner?
Okay, for a beginner, okay, once again, it depends on your intention, depends on your purpose. If you want to learn, if you want to study because you want to pass the examination, university examination or school examination, the first thing you have to learn is the grammar, of course. But it also depends. If there's like a speaking test, you also need to increase your vocabs and pronunciation. And if you want to take an IELTS test, of course, you have to learn the grammar, pronunciation, everything, right? But if your intention, if your purpose is to be able to talk with people, and in particular, like only to be able to talk, of course, grammar is not really important. The first thing that you have to enhance is your confidence. Because, Hansel, have you ever think like, you think that you're really good at speaking, but you lack of confidence?
Yeah, of course. So for communications, the most important thing is confidence, right? Even you're already good in English, but you lack of confidence, suddenly everything you already learn in your mind suddenly disappear.
Exactly. This is what I'm talking about. Like, and let's say you've built this habit, like you read every day, you talk, you practice every day. I mean, not practice. You listen to like music, you listen to podcast every day. Maybe you listen to it every hours in your free time, but you never use it. It's pointless. It's very useless if you don't use the language, because the most important, the best way to learn a language is to use it.
Mhm.
So confidence is number one.
Confidence is number one. So okay, nice. Well, so we can differentiate to learning English on two type. Learning English for academic purpose and also learning English for communication purpose. So for academic, grammar is really important, right? And for communication is confidence and also vocabulary.
No, I think for the number one, we cannot really get rid of confidence. Like we put grammar first, but we also need confidence. Like both
Also need
confidence. Yeah.
Okay. How to build confidence through your speaking practice?
Right. Your environment. If you have a supportive environment, it really can be helpful. It really help when it comes to confidence. Because if you don't have a supportive environment, you will feel like I'm not valuable. I mean, it's useless to learn this language because no one supports me. So to overcome this, you can find friends that can help you practice with, or find some community to find friends with, to talk with, something like that.
Okay. So to build the confidence, you need to talk, right? Come in free for talk, looking for speaking partner. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So have you tried another alternative platform or website for practicing the conversation, for practicing English, especially for increasing your confidence?
Like online place, another website.
Website.
Okay. Well, okay. Before knowing Field Talk, I used to use Discord. I mean, I've been using Discord all along until now. And I joined some English community online. Back in the day, it was called Some English Cafe. But it doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, I use Discord. There's a lot of people that I can practice with.
Okay. So which one better between Free for Talk and Discord?
Okay. I mean, you can't really compare both platforms because those applications are very different. When it comes to Discord, it's quite close. It's like a server closed, which can be accessed with certain people. Like for example, your friends and you make a server to practice with each other. Like no strangers can freely join the server. But on the other hand, on River Talk, you can talk with random people.
Okay. So both this platform is really helpful for increasing your capability to be able to speak in English.
Yep, they are very helpful.
Okay. What about the obstacle or pitfall when people try to develop or try to learning any new languages?
Struggle. I think. Okay, motivation. Motivation is the number one enemy. And the first enemy you have to face when it comes to trying new things. I mean, it's not only language. It's not only about learning a language. When you learn about something or anything, the first thing you must have is the motivation. If you don't have motivation, you won't be able to learn it effectively. And what else? Like a supportive environment, I think. A supportive environment. It's also very crucial for me. It's very important. Like, let's say, Hansel, if you are motivated enough to learn a language, you want to learn, you really want to learn it, but your environment is not supportive. What do you feel?
You will surrender, right? And give up.
Yeah, you will most likely give up. But once again, it depends on the person, right? If they really want to learn it, they won't give a shit about that. Like, they won't care about that, about the people around them. They just keep learning and learning. So yeah, like, of motivation and supportive environment.
But few Indonesians, they like a judgmental person. So they said, like, we are Indonesian, we have to speak in Bahasa. How come you speak in English? And then it will be decreasing our motivation, right? A few Indonesians, it's not many actually.
Yeah.
Be judgmental person.
I think it happens, and it's quite normal in a country where English is not even the secondary language. That happens. Like, why should we learn English? It's not even our native language. We don't need it. But like, we will see if they need if they work for a company that requires them to learn to use English, they will most likely learn it. But the thing is, if you learn English because of the force, you won't be able to learn it in an effective way. You won't enjoy it.
Okay. Yes, because English is our second language. So for you, how English so important for you?
Okay, as an Indonesian people, let me ask you the same question. Yep. What do you think, Hansel?
I think it's like because today I work in not exactly a multinational company, but I have to talk and also communicate with people from another country. For me, it's like obligation to learn English, to conquer how to speak and how to communicate in English, because in my surrounding, I need to talk, I need to present something, I need to reply email in English. So basically, it's really important for me.
Yep, that's my answer. You've got the same answer. Even I, right now, I don't work for the international company, but one day I have a dream to work in one.
Okay.
So yeah, I've got the same answer.
So what is your advice for newcomer or the beginner in learning English to start to learning English?
Okay. Well, since lack of motivation is our number one enemy, I just want to say that find your motivation, and find a purpose of learning something, not only language learning, but also anything. Find a motivation, because once you found it, you will learn it in an effective way. You will enjoy the process. You don't no need to be in a rush, because this is not a race once again. Life is not a race. And yeah, be confident. Too much theory, too much learning grammar won't help you. Like, once you've mastered the grammar, you've mastered the theory of English, but you don't use it, you don't practice it. If you don't be confident, it's useless. So be confident.
Okay. Okay, talking about our education system in our country, like we start to learn English for elementary school, right? We start to understand English through the vocabulary. But the end of the story, after we graduate from the primary school, from the school, we still cannot communicate in English. So what do you think? What happened in our education system about learning English? And for example, like we compare to our neighbor country, the Philippines, mostly they can speak English really well.
I mean, I've never seen about the data about it, about the comparison of the Filipino people and Indonesian people. So I don't really compare about it. But what I've seen that I've got so many friends from the Philippines, and the way they talk is just the same as us. Like like you said, you're right. English, it's been the first foreign language in Indonesia that they teach us since a long, long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, after Day, English has been taught since that day. And about the problem, I don't really compare our problem with the Philippines, but I think the education in Indonesia is constantly evolving. I think it's getting better right now.
Getting better, right?
Yeah, it's getting better. I mean, it's when it comes to the English.
Yes, because we are learning English in the elementary school, probably just for academic purpose.
Yeah.
But we don't have, we have only small space for practicing in English. They only just teach us about like grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation, but don't give us space for practicing conversation. Do you have any suggestion for our education system?
Like I've said, our education system in English is constantly evolving. It's getting better. The curriculum is great, but the problem is in the technology we have right now. We really are lacking of technology that we can use right now. Like the innovation, the automation, the information transfer. Like if you really want to compare the curriculum, the education, we can compare it to Finland. They're the number one country with the best education. And if we see that the method they use when it comes to the education, the technology is very advanced. We actually have great curriculum. We have almost the same curriculum with Finland, but the problem is we're lacking of technology. That's it.
Yeah, what kind of technology do you mean?
Like people in a kindergarten in Finland, these kind of technology that it's kind of games that they use to do the quiz, the test. So it becomes more interesting and entertaining.
That's
kind of the example. So I don't know, but like technology and learning must be blended nowadays.
Okay, so government should put some investment for increasing the facility in terms of the technology for learning, right?
Exactly.
So
because
what about?
It's one of the. I mean, it's the number one problem in our country, right? We have to enhance our human resources. So, if you invest money from the government to the school to make it better, to make the education better in Indonesia, means that they are building the country. It's very important.
Okay, so human source is like teacher, right? Teacher.
Yep.
Okay, what about like social media? Like a lot of right now, like YouTube or Instagram, if you want to learn something right now, it's really easy. Just put some keyword in YouTube and then boom, suddenly appear everything, whatever you want. So would it make people more comfortable learning something, like enjoyable as well? So how do you use social media as one of the object for improving English in terms of learning English?
Okay. Well, I think if you talk about social media, yeah, we have a lot of advantages. Like we have a huge advantage for being born nowadays because we have quite proper technology, right? Comparing to the people back in the day, like it was very hard for them to learn something because there was no internet, there was no enough technology for them to help them achieve something, to help them learning something. So in order to use social media when it comes to language learning, it depends on the person. You set the algorithm. For example, if you use Instagram, you set the algorithm to learn it. So every time you use it, you see that some post is something that can motivate you to learn. So you set yourself like by having interaction with the account that you want to connect. For example, English learning, you follow those accounts to help you motivate it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we have really a huge advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And the learning method, I think we can just choose. If we like visual, we can just watch some YouTube videos. Like if you want, if we like listening, we can just listen to the podcast or something. Okay. So what's your main problem?
The problem is like how to use social media more powerful to learning or for learning. A lot of material from internet, right? From Google's, from YouTube. But how to make it more powerful?
Say like, yeah, as I mentioned, like having interaction with the accounts you follow, because the the algorithm works, right? The more you have interaction with the accounts, the more that will appear in your timeline, something like that. So when you see the post, it can motivate you to learn without you realize. I mean, unconsciously, when you read that, you learn it.
Mm-hmm. So if you put in your search box in your social media about material for learning something, it means that it will be appear in your homepage, in your timeline, because easily to track your looking what you're looking for in internet, right? But in the opposite way, if you're looking for bad thing, I mean, like for instance, you're looking for the girls dancing, the cram. So all of your suggestion video is talking about dancing, right?
Yeah.
So use social media properly is most important.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the one who can control our social media is ourselves, right? No one else.
Yeah, because in social media, they have system, they have algorithm, and then it depends the user, how user use the feature on social media.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because we have limited time, Hamlen, so thank you very much for being here. But before I wrap up this conversation, do you have some advice, or do you want to say something related to applying small habit in terms of learning English?
Yeah. Don't be afraid. I know it's very normal for you to find it really hard at first for your English journey, but keep doing it. Stay motivated, find your motivation, and be confident. don't be scared to talk with people because they're all human beings. They're all the same.
Thank you very much. It's really useful. So thank you, Hanan, for being here, for sharing your knowledge, and for sharing your personal experience.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, see you later on another episode of my podcast. And bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye.